All right, I'm starting with a 1500 grit. Now what I got here is just a little rubber squeegee. Got it at the auto body supply store. If you don't have one, that's fine. Go snitch a spatula, one of them rubber spatulas, does the same thing. And what it's going to do is just help me get my soupy water off of here so I can see my surface. I can see, right now I can see shiny spots. So I know that I've got a little more to do. If you've got something really bad, a really tough or rough surface, you can get down to a 600, 800, move right on up. The 1500 is going to do nice on this because I don't have a super rough surface. But the 1500 will probably give me a little more gloss than I want. So, but 1500, 1200 is a good place to start. A 1200 grit scratch is going to give you about a nice satin. 1500 up is going to give you a high semi-gloss. You get into the 2000s and 2500 grit sandpapers, you're getting into super high gloss. Super high gloss is okay if you have something that's not going to be being used on a regular basis. Really super high gloss finishes where you're on dining tables and chairs or anything of that nature where you're going to be setting things in people's hands, where the least little minor scratch, you're going to see it. So, all I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch over to a 1200. And I'm going to continue to sand until I can't see any, until I've got a perfectly even sanded sheen. I'm going to do that. We'll be right back. I'm down to, I sanded this whole end right here down to 1500. I got a couple little shiny spots, but nothing major. In this section right here, what I did was I started with some Abralon. Yep, Abralon's expensive. It's made by Merca. But it really, really does a nice job. Now I've got a 1000 grit, a 2000 grit, and a 4000 grit. Now these things last good, as long as you take care of them. And you can wash them out and whatever. And that's the other reason I kind of like using the soapy water, because it keeps me from getting them all clogged up and everything. Again, right on my random orbit. Now, in this area right here, and it's really hard to show you on camera, over here I've got a really brilliant glossy surface. I'm not all the way up to a full gloss. And the way I know that is I can look at the reflection of the lights, and the lights are still a little fuzzy. I could actually work that up to where those lights were just, it'd just be like looking in a mirror. But on furniture, like I said, I don't want that. I want a nice semi-gloss. So in this case, I have sanded to 1200. In that case, I sanded to 1500. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to take a 2000 grit Abralon. If I wanted a matte surface, like you see on Corian, Formica, that kind of thing, I may go no further than a 1000 grit. But what I'm going to do, just again, a little soapy water and rub. Also going to show you is that once I've got, in this case, if I want just a little more sheen, I could rub a little bit more at the 2000, or I can simply switch over to a 4000 and rub it to where I want. You can rub it to whatever stage you want. The cool thing you need to understand is this. With a compound, rotten stone, pumice, any of those, the more you rub, the shinier it gets. The neat thing about sanding and using the Abralon pads is that you're sanding. It's a sanded surface. It's going to be slick as glass, which this is, and the other thing it's going to do is it allows you to evenly control the sheen. So you don't have shiny here, duller here, and you spend all this time trying to get everything rubbed out to a perfect sheen. Rubbing something to a high gloss is easy. You just rub it until it's like glass. Being able to rub something to a matte finish, which is a dull or flat, or to a satin finish, or to a semi-gloss finish, that's what's hard. It's hard to get that sheen even. And a sanded surface will give that to you. Also easy to maintain. And just like, you heard me mention solid surface. If you've got solid surface, granite, corian, any of that, it's exactly the way it's worked out. I'm Charles Neal. I'll catch you later.